Welcome to season 2. It's the same as season 1.
For those of you who don't know, I met this fellow lowlife 20 years ago on Good Old Deal or No Deal. Yep, we were briefcase baddies.
Some people says it feels staged. I feel like it's perfectly staged.
Well, it's definitely no Vanity Fair, which I've graced the cover of twice now, only because of who your husband is. What was that? Oh, nothing.
The numbers are out, and let me tell you, they are absolutely brutal for Meghan Markle. Her big Netflix comeback project, the one everyone thought would be her shiny new crown jewel, has landed with the kind of flop that echoes across Hollywood. We're talking about a full-on belly flop here. Her much-hyped cooking show, which she and Netflix poured so much money and energy into, has hit the streaming charts with a thud so loud it's shaking her Montecito mansion. And the kicker? It didn't even scrape into the top 30 most-watched list. Let that sink in. Not even the top 30. For Meghan, who sold this show as her grand re-entry into the lifestyle space, this isn't just disappointing, it's devastating.
I guess I'm thinking a super easy caramelized onion tart. It only takes 4.5 hours of really slow onion cutting.
And behind those Montecito gates, the atmosphere is tense. Sources whisper that Meghan is struggling, spiraling even, as she comes to terms with what insiders are bluntly calling a commercial disaster. Netflix's own viewing stats tell the story with cold precision. Audiences just didn't care. Her previous project with Harry at least stirred some buzz and drew eyeballs out of curiosity. But this solo venture, it's practically invisible. Right now, it's limping along in the mid-30s on Netflix's charts. One streaming executive described the performance as brutally disappointing, a painful reminder that big budgets and royal fame don't always guarantee success. And that's where the drama takes a darker twist. Because Meghan didn't just sit still when the numbers started sinking, oh no. She made a move that left even hardened PR watchers shaking their heads.
Has been widely mocked after she seemingly channeled Kamala Harris in her latest interview.
Within mere hours of these dismal results becoming public, Meghan suddenly rolled out an intimate little behind-the-scenes peek. And what did it feature? Her kids, Archie and Lilibet, sprinkled carefully across her Netflix production like little props. Photos appeared, their faces covered with emojis to protect privacy. But the timing? Far too convenient to be a coincidence. Media experts immediately saw it for what it was, a textbook damage control tactic. Instead of people talking about her failing show, the narrative shifts to Meghan, the devoted mother, bravely balancing work and family. Clever? Maybe. Transparent? Absolutely.
Using phrases like when you anchor yourself in your knowing and all sorts of other terms that most normal people do not use. Have a listen.
But here's the eyebrow raiser. This is the same Meghan Markle who once sat down with Oprah Winfrey and poured her heart out about being pressured to put her children in the spotlight. She insisted she would never serve them up as pawns for publicity. Yet when her career desperately needed a boost, suddenly there they are, strategically placed in her Netflix world. The hypocrisy is glaring, and royal commentators are calling it out loudly. Was her privacy stance ever genuine, or was it just another polished PR act? The contradictions couldn't be clearer. And let's be real, the show didn't just tank because of bad luck. Insiders say the problems were baked in from the very beginning. From Meghan's stiff on-screen presence to the oddly disconnected content, Netflix execs had red flags popping up throughout production.
By the way, John's here. I just had to bring my award-winning singer-songwriter husband, John Legend, to one-up your Prince husband.
One insider confessed that Meghan simply doesn't connect with viewers the way successful lifestyle hosts do. The magic just wasn't there. Where other personalities bring charm, authenticity, and relatability, Meghan felt forced, like she was performing a role rather than sharing herself. The show ended up polished to the point of artificiality, and in today's oversaturated market, audiences smell fakery from a mile away. This wasn't just a flop, it was a warning shot that Meghan's carefully built brand might be unraveling faster than anyone expected.
I only host people I love, or people with very large platforms.
Netflix insiders aren't mincing words. The show's inability to even scrape into the top 20 is a major problem. For a high-profile, high-budget celebrity project, the expectation is clear. Land in the top 15 minimum for at least 2 weeks. Meghan's show barely squeaked into the top 40 during its debut week, and the numbers have only gone downhill since. Compare that to other lifestyle stars who thrive on Netflix with relatable, authentic content. Meghan's offering looks out of touch, robotic, and painfully staged.
This is my jam. No, literally, I made jam. so sweet.
And let's not forget the money. Netflix didn't just hand her a show, they threw serious marketing firepower behind it. Billboards, international campaigns, cross-platform promotions. They spent millions making sure everyone knew Meghan had a cooking show. But the return? Practically non-existent. Executives are reportedly embarrassed at how little buzz it generated. And now the whispers have begun. Will Netflix even bother greenlighting more Sussex projects after this humiliation? And if you think the audience reaction has been kinder, think again. Social media and review sites are brutal. Viewers are blasting the show as tone-deaf, out of touch, and painfully unrelatable. One viral review nailed it. Meghan's tips and lifestyle hacks assume a household with staff, endless resources, and money to burn, something the average viewer could never dream of. It's like she's hosting a show from another planet, one commenter joked. Others pointed out how fake it all feels. Real lifestyle content thrives when the host shows vulnerability, mistakes, and authenticity. Meghan instead delivered a polished performance that screamed image management. And audiences? They weren't buying it. This timing couldn't be worse for Meghan's Hollywood ambitions. Insiders say she had been counting on the Netflix show's success to leverage bigger projects and brand collaborations. Instead, those conversations have now gone silent. One agent even said flat out, her brand has taken a hit she may not recover from. Hollywood moves fast and nobody wants to bet on a loser.
Has your husband ever done something so sweet? No, but he did discard his entire family for me. Oh, that's amazing!
And here's where it gets even messier. The space Meghan tried to break into, lifestyle and cooking, is crowded. It's already dominated by personalities who have built years of trust with their audiences, people who bring real skills, relatable struggles, and genuine passion. Meghan thought she could just step in and own it because of her name and fame, but instead, the gap between her celebrity status and her actual ability to deliver content that resonates has been exposed in the harshest way possible. The ripple effects? Oh, they're only just beginning, because Meghan's fallback move, using her kids as a shield, is creating a firestorm of its own. Media experts and child welfare advocates are increasingly concerned about the pattern that's emerging. Every time Meghan faces a setback, out come the family photos, and people are starting to notice the routine.
Sarah, do you think people do care whether the royal family are united or not, or do you think we've all given up to Harry in California and Meghan cooking jam?
Think about it. She once wept about the royals pressuring her to use her children for publicity. Yet here she is, doing exactly that, by choice. And the photos themselves? Carefully staged to tug on heartstrings while keeping plausible deniability with those little emoji-covered faces. But experts say this actually draws more attention to the kids, not less. It creates mystery and intrigue, fueling more curiosity than if she had kept them completely private. Critics are asking, is this about protection or manipulation? Royal watchers are already comparing Meghan's strategy to how Prince William and Kate handle their kids. The difference is stark. The Wales family releases controlled, official photos on special occasions, never using their children as PR shields to deflect from negative headlines. Meghan's approach, in contrast, feels exploitative, calculated, and frankly, desperate. And then there's Harry. Insiders whisper he's deeply uncomfortable with this direction. One source claims he visibly stiffens whenever Meghan brings up using the kids in publicity. After all, Harry knows the trauma of growing up in the spotlight all too well, and he's haunted by what that did to him after his mother's death, to see his children being used in ways that remind him of his own pain. It's allegedly causing real tension inside the Montecito mansion.
Then I love to sprinkle flowers on everything. My tart, my latte, my child.
And it only gets darker from here. The level of detail in these staged photos is jaw-dropping. Archie's soccer school t-shirt, basically a neon sign pointing to where the kids are located. Experts are horrified, saying this kind of slip is either shocking carelessness or a calculated gamble to grab attention even at the cost of safety. And if that's the case, then Meghan is prioritizing headlines over her children's well-being. Media experts are blunt. The timing is too obvious. Netflix numbers tank, and hours later, bam! Family photos flood the internet. This isn't sophisticated PR, it's desperate, transparent, and insulting to the public's intelligence. People see through it, and the backlash is building fast. The backlash is swift. Parenting bloggers rip Meghan apart, pointing out how insulting her parenting tips in People magazine look when she's got an army of staff handling the basics. Handwritten lunchbox notes? Sweet, except the nanny is the one packing the lunch. Surprise Friday treats? Cute, except again handled by staff. And waffles in lunchboxes? Tone-deaf fluff from someone who's who's clearly never had to juggle a full-time job, kids, and household chaos without professional help. Real moms online aren't impressed. They're furious. And the timing? Predictably suspicious. Just as the nanny posting leaks, Meghan drops her back-to-school tips article. Another calculated distraction, but this time, it only fuels the hypocrisy narrative. Meanwhile, whispers from inside the Montecito mansion paint an even uglier picture. Sources claim Meghan's behavior towards staff can be cutting, especially when Harry isn't around. Former employees describe being demeaned, belittled, and strategically criticized only when Harry was absent. When he returned, he'd find upset staff and scramble to comfort them, often unaware of what Meghan had just said. This dynamic has insiders worried. It suggests Meghan knows her behavior crosses lines, but times it carefully to dodge Harry's eyes. And this manipulation, they say, is straining the marriage itself. Local parents who've run into the couple at school functions describe Harry as warm, approachable, and genuinely interested in others. Meghan, by contrast, comes off cold, standoffish, even dismissive, treating neighbors more like potential threats than fellow parents. The contrast between them is glaring, and people notice. Experts note the obvious. Meghan's sudden pivot into child-focused content mirrors Catherine's territory. But while Catherine backs her words with science and measurable outcomes, Meghan relies on lifestyle platitudes and PR fluff. The difference? Authenticity versus performance. And audiences? They can spot it instantly. Hollywood insiders go further. They describe Meghan's behavior as classic attention addiction. After Suits, she thrived on weekly validation from viewers. Then came Royal Life, global fame at its peak. But once that faded, the craving didn't. Instead, it's morphed into what one psychologist calls relevance panic, a desperate need to stay in the spotlight no matter the cost. And the pattern fits. Every flop leads to a louder, more desperate stunt. Children in PR campaigns, tone-deaf advice pieces, manufactured controversies. Industry veterans say it's a cycle they've seen before, and it rarely ends well. Each failure tightens the noose, each stunt damages credibility further, until eventually the opportunities just vanish. And the numbers don't lie. Netflix is shaken. Insiders say meetings about the Sussex deal have soured, with execs questioning whether this $100 million gamble was a mistake. Marketing costs were massive, global rollouts expensive, and the result? A flop so bad it's being studied as a case of celebrity overreach. Other companies are watching too. Word in Hollywood is that interest in Sussex projects is fading. The high demands, the drama, the lack of genuine audience pull, it's all too much. Deals are stalling, calls are going unanswered. The pool of opportunities is shrinking, and Meghan knows it. And that, experts say, is the most dangerous part, because desperation fuels recklessness. The willingness to use her children for publicity, the constant pivot to shallow lifestyle branding, the refusal to acknowledge failure. It all points to someone trapped in a downward spiral. The global reach of Netflix means this isn't just a Hollywood embarrassment, it's an international one. Executives across industries now have hard data on Meghan's lack of draw. And in an era where every click and stream is tracked, failure leaves a digital scar that doesn't fade. For the Sussex brand, the timing couldn't be worse. Royal reconciliation rumors? Forget it. The palace prioritizes child privacy above all else. And Meghan's current stunts stand in direct opposition to that. Bridges that were fragile already may now be burned for good. And the saddest part? The long-term cost may not be Meghan's career, but her children's peace of mind. Experts warn that growing up as unwilling PR props could leave Archie and Lilibet battling confusion, trust issues, and trauma for years to come. Financial analysts add another layer. The Montecito lifestyle, the mansion, the staff, the security, it all costs millions annually. With revenue streams drying up, the pressure to perform commercially intensifies. And that pressure, it's showing. As one Hollywood executive put it, this isn't just a flop, it's the beginning of the end. The real question now isn't whether Meghan can bounce back. It's whether she can stop the spiral before it takes down the last remnants of her brand. Because if the current pattern holds, each flop will bring another desperate stunt, each stunt will backfire harder than the last, and eventually, there'll be nothing left to salvage. Drop your thoughts below, because if you think this was messy, wait until you see what's coming next.